think there's been so much aggression down on that bot lane. He's still very even. But again, kills rather important to the UCL side, and they're now just going to go and focus on top and mid, pushing down both lanes.
Scaling wise, I guess blue team has a slight advantage, but it's whether they survive until late game.
Well, at this rate, I wouldn't expect it to go too late, so long as the UCL team can keep on pressuring all of the towers and just use their Caitlyn to the full ability. Like, Jarvan is going in very hard.
Reckless engage by Vi there.
But with Vi's on the side, Nivea's going to have to be careful and just stay back, wave clear. But Orianna may want to come around and either try something top or mid.
So Jarvan has built Iron Solari, or going for Iron Solari. Could be for Anivia.
The bottom half of this blue side jungle is just littered in wards though. And that's how far forward the UCL team have pushed, and just Lincoln trying to save what vision they can in their own jungle to be able to move around.
So Graves is continuing to farm?
Well, that is the benefit of having all those wards in their own jungle. It does allow him to at least push up slightly to get that farm. But he is going to have to rotate mid to try and help his team defend the mid tower. But Vladimir waiting in behind, they may want to try and engage.
I think Vi might go for disengage.
Both flashes popped by the carries though to get around.
Jarvan's down. Oh no, he's going for the jungle instead.
But with this Jarvan Orianna just putting up a bull and then ulting, it could be a very good engage for UCL to get yet another tower. And
Jarvan could be heading into the fight, or they'll just continue pressuring the turret.
Well, UCL do have both of the other lanes being pushed slightly in Lincoln's favour at the moment, although top should equal out pretty soon. They just want to continue trying to siege down mid, and that was a really good ult. 4 people. Unfortunately, no one there still to follow up because they'd all gone down to Dragon.
That would have been an ideal opportunity for a Jarvan ult.
But it is an uncontested Dragon, and they might be able to catch some of the people trying to get away from that.
They've been caught out.
And a nice Jarvan ulti to push 2 people back into the team, but Jarvan getting caught slightly on the side. They don't go in, they're going straight back to their tower, just trying to live.
A well-timed ult by Vi. Takes down Rise.
It was really with Caitlyn just sitting back, going back into the lane, and they just don't have enough damage to
Jarvan deciding to re-engage.
An interesting decision by the Jarvan, considering he didn't really have any backup from his team. He shouldn't have gone in there.
Especially with the mana situation.
But they did get the dragon, and it will be still more gold going into UCL's favour. Now 7k ahead.
Jarvan is really building towards an anti-AP build with Hex and Iron Solari, going towards Iron Solari.
Well, with the double AP on Vladimir and Anivia, it does make sense, and the early Aegis will probably help the team a great deal in those fights.
Looks like Graves is dead set on catching up with farms. Decided to go with an Avarice Blade.
Yes, but that does put him even further behind and working towards an Infinity Edge, and he's only actually built a pickaxe, whereas Caitlyn's already finished it and has moved on to building a Phantom Dancer. And they'll be able to get to this mid tower very easily now and just keep on pushing, as Vladimir and Graves are both forced to equal. Leona being very low as well. and they can just keep on pushing as 5, going straight through mid and sieging with their Caitlyn. Jarvan's really looking for the picks here and trying to catch someone out, going slightly too far forward, but it's ended up with just him getting poked back a little bit, having to go and just farm up.
It could be a team fight.
Well, if Lincoln can tunnel them into these small areas in the jungle, they have quite a good AoE team. And if they can, and I think the ult mistakenly popped, and they'll have to pop flash as a result.
Oh,
that was a pity.
They've been caught out.
A good Vial pushing everyone aside, and a very good Orianna ult again. Those Orianna ults have been incredible.
That was a very fast fight.
Well, Leona missing her ultimate, and then the rest of the team trying to do what they could, but with Jarvan jumping onto the carry, Orianna hitting everyone else with the ultimate, they couldn't do anything. And again, it's just UCL.
much stronger as well.
UCL just going through the entire team, but they're not really using this opportunity to push all that much. Caitlyn's slowly getting down mid, and in the meantime they'll just take the buffs, go push top, and probably recall to try and spend some of this money.
You can see that the bottom jungle on Lincoln's side is pretty much UCL jungle now.
Yes, well, only UCL wards at the moment. Leona trying to get in there to do some clearing, and in fact has caught Janna. They've got the teleport behind them, and this will probably be Leona. And another kill going onto that Caitlyn. That Caitlyn and Ryze are doing a lot of damage now. I'm not sure if Lincoln really have much they can apply with about 10,000 gold behind.
Vladimir isn't going to be much of a threat at the moment. He's only got Will of Vengeance and Spirit Visage.
The Spirit Visage is an odd item, I'd have thought. Surely he wants to be able to try to do as much damage as possible, and although being against the Rise he needs some magic resist to be able to survive it, it does just mean that right now he is doing nothing.
But he's been caught out.
Yeah, and the pool saving him from much of the damage he would have taken due to the Jarvan ult, but he's
Will the red buff be enough? No, it's not.
He's taken incredibly low, but Caitlyn looking for the bush.
Good body block.
And it is just small skirmishes breaking out, which slowly go into these fights. And finally the tower goes down.
Good Eye of the Storm by Janna.
And hits Caitlyn to...
Jarvan decides to pursue. Red buff. Couldn't quite take it.
Yeah, the barrier that time is enough to save him. In these fights, even with all Lincoln members there, UCL are so far ahead they are able just to walk in behind them and get the kills and the tower.
Got the laugh by Caitlyn. Feeling confidence.
The warding in the jungle has been very impressive by UCL. They have completely denied sight, having 4 sweepers on their side already.
Caitlyn's going for the scrying orb and the ultimate. Massive damage by Caitlyn at the moment.
It did look like one hit was almost half of that right, that Graves'
Leona could be walking into...
And they have caught the Leona again. It's a good Leona ultimate, but I'm not sure it'll be enough.
It's a Catalysm. And good Nivea ult.
Well,
I mean, wall weaving.
And it's a wonderful ultimate, just Nivea and...
Could be the ace here. The late Viol, there's the ace.
And it is the ace, and surely it will Just mean
Could be the game
inhibitor.
as well.
It's an easy inhibitor for them. And they could just keep on pushing in. I think it would probably be safer and more likely that they'll just go back, push out the other waves, maybe get Dragon in the buffs.
UCL probably going to think about Baron. Lincoln can't really contest any of the objectives at the moment.
No, and if they do even try to go towards them, they could just sit in a bush and have another team fight, which would probably be just as one-sided.
I think the only chance that Lincoln really has right now is to catch someone else. But UCL are doing quite a good job staying together.
Well, yeah, even if they do catch someone out at this point, UCL is just so far ahead, they would really be able to push that far off it.
UCL still has a pink ward right in the center of their jungle, which is about to get discovered.
Or not, as they both walk straight past it. Well, Anivi's pushed back up the mid lane a bit and put it back into the halfway. And look, Jana going straight back into the jungle, completely alone. And I suppose that does show how confident they are. And some spamming laugh. That is what bad playing by this person, honestly. You should be ashamed.
UCL does not condone such behaviour.
No, I've played with him quite a lot. He does that.
Yeah, I think all of us does that all the time. Pushing Vi away from her vectors.
Yeah, Vi hasn't been allowed any jungle this half the game.
It's really seeing more pressure from Jarvan all throughout the game. Be a team. No.
Yeah, Vi is usually very good at being able just to charge in and get the ganks, especially when they hit level 6. Their ultimate should really secure kills, but
Vice is really going for it.
And it's another great ult, completely separating out the team.
It's probably the game for UCL.
They have just stomped Lincoln. And it's going to be another ace.
Vladimir's down as well. I think this is probably the game.
It is. It's going to be the Nexus tarts and then Nexus itself.
And a random
popping flashes.
I think all in all, UCL just played better. There was no really defining moment.
It really was. Just throughout the game, UCL, nothing wrong really. Just completely slaughtered them.
Microphone muted.
Hello, this is UCL White in, I think, their 4th game now. They are playing the Cardiff A team, and we are currently just looking at the champion select screen with the... Oh,
well, should we just go down the list, or...?
We could do.
Well, I guess I'll start with purple team. Well, they have a very strong jungler, Kha'Zix, who's I think currently one of the top bands for jungling at the moment.
He is very
strong. Obviously, Maokai is also... Ultimate is a game changer. They have quite a lot of engage, I guess, from Maokai and Thresh.
They do, but against the Maokai it is going to be the Mundo, and in the last game when we had that Mundo on White, it really did just make the game for them.
That's true. We did see a very strong Mundo performance in the last game.
So hopefully we can see the repeat of that. I quite like the Jinx Thresh. It's a very, very aggressive lane, and they should be able to, if they hit a grab on that Tristana, get her down very quickly. But then with Timid Tank on the Janna, he's a very good Janna, and it's got some of the best disengages.
Mid lane seems like Syndra had the advantage over Orianna in most lanes. It's quite a difficult lane for Orianna range-wise.
Then again, it is Khan on Orianna, and it is his favourite champion, so hopefully he'll be able to do pretty well against that Syndra.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think I looked at a whip and he did play Syndra, so this will be quite a hard matchup.
Looking at his profile, he does play a lot of Orianna as well, so he may well be able to see what's coming.
Obviously, Tristana is Tristana. Even with the recent nerfs in the past patch, she's still ridiculously powerful.
Well, she is the most played AD carry at the moment, and I believe it's mostly just the resets on the jump, which make her such an amazing AD carry.
Yeah, and I guess she's quite safe to play as well. Get out a lot of situations with a double disengage.
Yes, and with the Janna as well, that should be extra safe for her.
As with the last game with Bello, it seems we have the Orianna and Jarvan combo again. Obviously it's different people, so we don't know how that would work out.
But in general, it does look like UCL White have gone for a much later team composition. With the Tristana and Mundo, they will want this game to go longer. Whereas it does look like Cardiff have got a much earlier game.
Tristana gets stronger and stronger as well. Although she's not one of the best scalers, I guess.
Well, it looks like fairly safe and standard start for UCL, just going across the jungle, warding up, but we do have every member from Cardiff coming in, going towards this red.
Looks like Mundo and Orianna are moving down. They sense something's wrong here.
Yes, they were spotted going in by the Jarvan, so they know they're there. And there's the Jarvan flag to see them off.
No wards from Cardiff just yet. Oh no, that's the first ward down.
Yep, cleared by the Jarvan.
So it's back to a standard start.
And a ward put down on the other side for good measure, just to make sure they don't stay there to do anything. Kha'Zix's also deciding to start with.
He could be going for an invade on Jarvan.
And a lot of things, it does look like
he will go for an invade.
And probably will be joined by the Maokai, who may then try to push up his lane in advance with us.
probably the lanes to look at would be Jinx and Thresh, see if they can get the early kill.
Well, I think they're probably wanting to get at least level 2 to make sure they have the grab with the flay to be able to get the most possible out of it. But it will be difficult for them, especially if Benny can hit those knock-ups with Janna. And already a lot of early poke in the mid lane, which is fairly expected with an Orianna syndrome. But it is the Kha'Zix coming across looking for this blue. And he's probably going to run straight into the Jarvan as he has.
See how the lanes respond, but...
Well, Orianna and Mundo immediately coming, and they close in.
Mundo could get... no, he's fine.
So it doesn't look like much is going to happen out of this. Probably just going to make sure that the Kha'Zix has backed off and doesn't try to steal it with his smite.
So that ward is giving him vision, and it could be a steal.
And Jarvan's found the ward. But he doesn't know that Kha'Zix is still right there.
Ooh. It's a close one.
Well, he didn't get the steal, but that
we've
will
got a
now
grab on
cost him.
Tristana.
Which was taken very, very low. But Ignite was popped as well, whereas with the exhaust. So just trading the summoners back and forth, and it's a great stun from the Syndra mid. Getting a lot of early damage onto Orianna. Oh, and it's a flash knockout. It's a good gank, and can they get the kill? They're going to get it, but it's going to be a 1-for-1.
Trade.
And Syndra with the first blood, making it very worthwhile for that Syndra. Not only getting 1-for-1 on the gank, but also getting the first blood for it. And with the kill going onto the Jarvan as well, the Orianna will be falling behind. These grabs coming out, pretty impressive. Haven't seen one missed yet.
I seem to be having some issues with my League client.
Well, it looks like Kha'Zix is going to try and get in gank on mid. See if anything happens, and it's stunned by Syndra and the slow. And Kha'Zix jumping in, and also Jarvan ganking bot. Jarvan got up his knock up, followed by the Jannas, and it is going to be the kill on Thresh. But Syndra following incredibly deep onto the blue side of the map, but not quite able to do enough damage yet. And meanwhile top, they just trade back and forth slightly. Farming very evenly, and Tristana jumping straight on top, should be able to get the kill, and it is a kill on Tristana. A very successful gank for the Jarvan, and that's Flamsy playing very well. Mundo appears to be having some trouble top lane dealing with the amazing sustain of Maokai. Maokai able just to push the lane further and further, getting it into the tower, making Mundo miss as much farm as possible. So they seem to be settling into the game slightly more now, just farming up fairly evenly across the board. Slight lead from the Jinx on Tristana, but the Tristana did get that kill and assist, and so is ahead. We also see the difference in junglers. Not only does Flamsy have a CS lead on the enemy's jungler, but he also has the 2 kills. He's been in every kill on UCL's team. It's doing very well. But with sight vision around bottom lane, I'm not sure he'll be able to get another successful gank off, but he's going to try now. And he has been spotted, and they're going back, but there is the slow on Jinx. Tristana jumping in, will the lantern be enough? Thresh knocked up, but he's going to get the grab, and with the flame maybe? No. A lot of damage being done, but no, just surviving. Got away very quickly, but... So Malachi just continuing to push up top lane. Mundo doing very well to deal with it and still farm so well, and very even. Malachi getting his Catalyst first item, and unsurprisingly Mundo going for some magic assist with his Spectre's Cow. It should help him against that poke, and now he's hit 6, he will be very difficult to kill. But Malachi is roaming down, and with the Kha'Zix, they do seem to be looking to get a 3-man gank on the mid lane. Malachi flash grabbing straight into the binding, but a really nice ultimate, 3-man. It's a pity that they can't do more of that. And the teleport just a bit too late by the Mundo, he couldn't come in after that. And so that was a very good 3-man dive. And so Cardiff looking to make up that 500 gold lead that UCL currently have. And Flamsy again showing how strong he is at this point in the game. Ultimating in and getting that kill. And again, the Jinx and Thresh were just bullied out of that bottom lane. Does show the power of the Tristana. And forcing those waves into the tower does just cost that Cardiff team more XP, more farm. And it is slowly gaining the lead for UCL. And blue buff is taken by the jungler for UCL, but left up for probably to be taken by Syndra when Kha'Zix gets back to it. Most likely the Chalice being picked up by Khan on mid lane means that he doesn't really need blue buff at this point. Whereas for Syndra it would give her the cooldowns and mana she needs to keep on spamming those balls. So still not much happening really, just a little back and forth. Got Flamsy going in once again, and a really nice ultimate, knocking that Thresh straight back. But the teleport is coming down, and with Malachi they might be able to turn this around. They're just not fast enough to get slowed and back off and allow UCL to go away really quickly. And the ult did come out from Syndra there, a lot of burst damage, but not quite enough. But with their top laner down here on this bottom side, Cardiff are going to try for this dragon. They do have sight from UCL around it though, and so UCL should be able to contest this with their jungler right there, and we'll be able to see if Flamsy could maybe get the steal. Oh, and Benny's been hit by a stun, and this is definitely going to be him dead. He goes down like a fly. Tristana jumping away, and that will probably be the dragon going to Cardiff. Meanwhile, top lane is just Mundo pushing away at this tower. And they do get the tower, so how many kills can Cardiff get out of this? Another decent fight for Cardiff, getting those 2 kills and onto the Jinx as well. It's definitely where they want those kills to be going. But they did let that Tristana get away. Only Thresh was really going for her. And we could see if she thinks that she could go in here. They've got the teleport now with Mundo. but she has been stunned, and she's forced to back away with that ult. Mundo charging the Thresh down, and again, finally the flash is burnt for Tristana, and they get onto Benny again, getting that stun, and Benny again dropping incredibly quickly. But they have still managed to keep them off this dragon, and I think this is all they're trying to do, is just keep them as far away from this dragon as possible. Mundo tanking up that tower, getting away from the Jinx and Kha'Zix. And it does look like they have got them away from this dragon. And a lot of chaos just ensuing, just to stop the dragon being done. And it is a lot of global gold, but it did cost them quite a few kills. So now UCL trying their luck on the dragon.
User joined your channel.
They've got the Thresh, they're going to get sight on it, but they're not going to have anyone else coming, and it's definitely going to be UCL's. And the Jinx ult goes flying past. But again, Mundo split pushing top, and they will be at least trading towers for this.
Must apologize.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
I had a temporary outage of BT service.
Oh, BT, you should swap to Virgin.
I wish I could.
And UCL are currently looking for sponsorship, so Virgin, if you want to.
Let's see. So the game's still looking pretty even. Although Thresh
Some nice Oriana, and Thresh did just go too far, trying to get some deep wards. But Flamsy getting nuked down by that Syndra. And again, the flash binding, and Oriana will go down as well. Oh, but one too many tower hits, he walked the wrong way, and that's one kill down.
Still only 500 gold up.
It is a pretty close game. We've got Tristana starting to fall behind on the farm though, and Jinx with those kills now has the same kills and assists, but is farming much better and pushing down very quickly on this bottom lane. And that's the second tower for Cardiff, going ahead of objectives. The gold being kept fairly even by the fact that UCL getting that dragon, but looking at wards across the map, just complete ward coverage all along the river. Both teams having many wards placed down, and both trying to deny as much vision as possible from the other team. And Benny seems to have disconnected. He was running straight into them. This did happen last game as well, and they have used a pause. Hopefully, Benny will be back soon.
Probably is a kill for Syndra.
It does look like as soon as there's some pause, the Syndra will be able to pop a stun and ultimate. Or they may be kind, realise it's the DC, and try and let them walk out.
We have to see if Cardiff is willing to be merciful. We can take this time to have a look at how all the lanes are doing.
Well, as it stands at the moment, every lane really is going in the way of Cardiff, but top lane, Mundo has done well against the Maokai. They traded towers, but Mundo is ahead by that kill and a little bit of farm. But Maokai using his teleport much better and has been involved in more of the kills.
Got a Jinx who is now 600 gold up on Tristana. That could be a real threat coming into mid game. You can also see that we can also see that Jinx has already completed her Infinity Edge.
Yep, the power spike coming from her much earlier, whereas Justana's still quite a way off that, only really having the pickaxe and that crit coming off from the cloak.
We have to hope that kills start distributing towards the other members of the team. Jarvan with 4 kills at the moment. Looks like he's building into a Sunfire's cape.
A summoner has reconnected.
Could be Sunfire, or he could go for Randuin's instead.
It's true. So likely the largest threat at the moment is either Jinx or Syndra. Who is likely to buy a large rod once she gets to 400 gold?
Yeah, so she is currently sitting on that 1.3k, so...
Probably gonna get another 100 and something off Janna.
Well, he is continually disconnecting and connecting, trying to get back into the game, and I imagine fixing his pain. Then again, they could use this time. You can see 4 people of the UCL team pretty close to that mid lane. Once Benny gets back in, he hits a good knock-up, you never know. They could save him.
He might do an immediate ult if it, oh no, his ultimate's not up. Oh, I can't tell from the icon, but it looks like he just used it.
I think his ultimate is up, but...
Must be a glitch.
It is greyed out, as like all of them are greyed out currently because of the freeze.
Oh yes, his ultimate is still up. See if he can pull off a Eye of the Storm. Mundo's probably going to follow a similar path as before, starting with the Visage going into Sunfire, acting as an annoying frontline for UCL, whereas Maokai will probably do the same thing. Really going to see which one is able to create more havoc in the other team's composition. I guess in the case that Janna is unable to reconnect, it would be an automatic forfeit.
User joined your channel.
Hey there.
I think they would have to forfeit. So now we are joined by the support and captain of the UCL Bello team, the second team.
Hello everyone, I was the Janna in the last game.
Which clearly, as we saw, did go very well. Dominating lead, over 20k ahead, very easily. How do you think this game's been going so far?
So I think that UCL White have a very strong team fighting comp with great die potential between the Mundo ball delivery system and Jarvan delivery system. However, that is somewhat countered by the poke and disengage coming from Cardiff, and they need to be very careful about that Jinx late game with a very strong front line and lots of CC in front of it. So I think UCL need to take an advantage going into the mid game and try and push it really hard. That would be my advice for them at the moment.
Well, hoping there's a mid-game if Benny does eventually come back in.
I think they have about 8 minutes left on the pause. I think NUEL will allow you 15 minutes of pausing time, so Benny has a bit of time left. How does it work with substitutions if someone disconnects midway through the game? Do they
I,
remake?
I don't think they can remake the game if it's already been going on.
I guess UCL White have to forfeit, which would be a big shame.
I mean, judging by how long he's been out, it's probably a client-sided problem. He does have multiple connections in his place, I think.
Yes, I think, but none of his housemates are gamers, so I'm not sure what it might be. Maybe they're having a hissy fit at him.
Or maybe he too is using BT.
BT is pretty terrible.
Yeah. BT keeps kicking me out around this time.
So how are the rest of UCL White's games been this evening?
They have won every single game. The last game against the number 9 seed.
That's quite impressive.
They did do very well, and again, Benny did disconnect in that game as well, and they lost a few kills from it, I think, and came back from it.
I'm going to go and pull up the match history for that game and investigate how it went. Match history. Oh, more Jana. Benny's favourite champion is Jana, so it's almost surprising to see that out of all the supports that get banned during these NUEL games, at least 2 or 3 per game, that Benny's Jana is getting through every time.
Well, it seems to be similar for Khan's Oriana. It's by far his favourite champion.
Oh, are we having... That's just me disconnecting, so that's fine. It's interesting that Benny's... Yeah, he has 80 ranked games on Jana so far, with a very high win rate if I'm not mistaken. And it's still getting through. Maybe you have to wonder if they're prioritising more of the hard carry champions, such as top laners perhaps from... it is down in top lane, isn't it?
So, just looking, apparently he is now back, and they seem to be getting ready to restart again.
See how this mid lane plays out.
That's interesting. Look at this last
No,
one.
they're going.
But the knock up from Benny and knocking them out of the Java, it seemed, with that ult. I'm not sure
I'm not
quite
quite
what
sure
that
what
ult
happened
was.
there.
Possibly he is still lagging.
I will refresh us on site.
Otherwise, that would have been definite misclick from him.
And I think the Syndra decided not to go for the kill.
Well, I think she realised that they did have backup, and Jarvan going in very hard, and a good Oriana ult on top of him, and killing the Jinx.
It's important to note at this point, it's currently 3v4 in the mid lane, which is starting split pushing, picking up quite a lot of farm and pressure in the bottom lane. So UCL White doing a very good job on the rotations to pressure the mid and side lanes at the same time. I bet Benny wish he had that ulti up now. It would have been very good disengage. As it is, they do manage to get out with very little damage from the tower.
What do you think of the ward placement this game, seeing as I know you've been critical of some of the warding of other people of UCL teams?
I have, and that's only because I think that wards very easily win games, and as well as going to put up the match history from the last game before, to look at the warding statistics, not just of the support mod, who was warding very well, but the rest of the team in general. I think it's interesting to note that Flamsy only placed 1 ward during the entire game last game, but still, looking from the gold graphs, they managed to pull ahead at the 24-minute mark, which I'm guessing I hadn't seen the game, was due to picks and visions, looking at the kills and dragons taken.
Another really good fight there. It was a pity that they didn't have the Tristana there quite at the same time, or they would have picked up more kills. As it is, Cardiff actually pulling ahead because of that, getting the kill onto Oriana.
Thresh is landing a lot of good grabs.
And they are just going to push down mid, which is probably get at least, well, I would have thought 2 towers, but maybe with the Jana they'd be able. Oh, no, popping teleport. which does scare them away from the tower. And they do have bot pushing up for them, but in top they're going to have to send someone back to defend.
So both teams actually have very good neutral objective control and tower pushing capability between Tristana with the attack speed steroid on Q combined with Janna's shield, and also Jinx's own attack speed steroid. So this game very well ends up seeing lots of tower trades as teams try to split push and avoid direct conflict. As for the ward placement, I think it's interesting that we're 80 minutes into the game and there's no wards on the top half of the map aside from one pink ward. I think
there has been so much action around this bottom half of the jungle, especially around the mid lane, and that is where all of the wards are concentrated.
Yeah, so setting up the dragon now, I wouldn't be surprised in the next few minutes to see a shift of focus towards the top half, possibly getting the 4 key wards along the river at the entrances and exits of the jungle camps to keep vision of that Kha'Zix trying to make plays.
And here's the dragon. Will they be able to do it fast enough to stop Fantasy coming into?
Tristana is slightly separated from the team, so have a few seconds of extra
And
time
again,
on dragon.
Getting Benny down below half already, they just didn't get their team there fast enough.
Fantastic shockwave combination.
Another very good shockwave, sending in their front line of either Jarvan or in that case more.
A very ballsy play from Terra Stereo, paying off with a really nice one team from Benny to keep them topped up and allowing them to then pressure the mid lane tower if they want in a 5v3.
And they are going to have to go back with the Kha'Zix and Maokai very, very low. The Syndra having to go back, safe way round, long way round, making sure she doesn't get caught out.
And there we see the pushing capabilities of that Tristana with the attack speed and the Janna shield, giving at least, I think it's 50 AD probably, if I check.
And once again,
45
it is
AD.
objectives trade. Dragon for the tower. And they stay very, very even. There's only a few hundred gold separating the teams.
I'm interested as to why they keep saying that Tristana to split push bottom with no ward coverage, though. I'm not sure if that's Terra being a few hundred gold away from his next big item.
They have seen the bone down towards.
They pinged it out and
should get away.
Off, yes. Who do you think going into the late game will have the better team fight composition then?
I think definitely UCL White will have a better team composition for late games. You've seen the Orianna being incredibly good with the shockwaves. I think combined with the Jarvan and a late game Tristana, providing they actually get there without losing their kind of small advantage now, they should do pretty well. And we see all of the team converging again. They are all moving around as a team, trying not to get caught out.
There's very good vision control from the blue team in their own jungle at the moment, sweeping out the wards and making sure they don't get picked off by a long-range Syndra stun, which could be very easily followed up by the Kha'Zix jumping slow, which is something like 50% on the current patch, or by Maokai Flash Twisted Advance, which is on cooldown at the moment.
And with that long-range stun and followed by maybe a Thresh as well with his grabs, they can pick someone out very, very quickly.
It's interesting that Cardiff have managed to choose sort of a pick comp and a team fight comp at the same time. You feel that they are trading a bit of both off though. Apart from the Syndra ulti, there's not a whole lot of immediate burst damage to follow up on a pick, unless Jinx gets possibly a Phantom Dancer so she gets more crits with her IE. But at the same time they also mixed out on the team fight potential, going for sort of a half and half, which we hope will benefit UCL White if they can get good engages with the Orianna and use their AoE to clean up the lots of squishy targets.
And we see blue buffs being given to the mids, and they are going to go again, all grouping up on the Cardiff team. They've just left that Maokai alone, going top. He does have his teleport out, so we'd be able to join the team as soon as the fight breaks out. And it looks like they're pinging around the side, trying to get more vision control, trying to see if they can get round to pick off any of the more squishy team from UCL.
So if I were Cardiff at this point in time, I think what my call would be to send the Maokai as he is doing split pushing, but then to bait the Baron. You can see they've got two very good pink wards covering two entrances to the Baron pit, but they don't seem to be using that to their advantage to try and pressure objectives. Instead they're going to back and potentially risk losing that vision control to get some very key purchases such as a death cap onto Syndra, which will help with those picks which they're trying to get.
Well, we see Benny now moving towards the top side, trying to... Well, he's not actually putting down any wards at the moment, not clearing any there. And they do still have better ward control.
I think that if they had got a blue trinket onto either Khan on Oriana or Tristana, they could possibly be more confident in sweeping out those areas, but as it is, with no vision deeper of the rest of the team, they had to be very careful trying to get those pink wards, and instead decided that it's not worth the risk of sending the squishy Janna out into that potentially long-range Syndra stun. There might be a contest over the red buff now, although Dragon is in 1 minute, so Purple might just be looking to get good vision control around the back of the pit to pick off a squishy target.
We've seen the Oriana hitting quite a few of those stuns, not being able to do all that much with it so far. But it will become more and more dangerous. She does now have her hat as well as the Athene's Unholy Grail. And she will be doing a hell of a lot of damage.
I'm interested in Benny's build choice for this match in particular. I would have thought that potentially Crucible to protect his squishy vulnerable hyper carrier measure up to this point. A very nice ulti from Benny actually to save J4 with a flash shield to make sure the burn doesn't get him, and a very clean fight for UCL White with strong disengage after picking off the Thresh and the Jinx.
Yep, Jinx is going down as well, and this will be the Maokai. Flashes away.
So hopefully this should be the free dragon for UCL White. It's slightly risky as Jarvan is in base at the moment, whereas Kha'Zix is there, so the risk of a steal is there. However, they're looking to peel off and instead try and get a pick instead.
Yeah, seeing that they don't have their jungler, they do just decide to back off and try and see if they can get another kill. But seeing that they have now been scared off, they will go for that dragon.
And that's a good call by UCL White not to go headstrong into the dragon and risk tanking up, even though they have a very good tank in the Mundo, and instead to try and go for the safer option, which is to zone off the enemy jungler and get the guaranteed gold. We're still seeing, however, that the Jinx is maintaining a CS advantage, if maybe not a gold advantage, due to the 5 kills on Tristana over Tristana. So it's interesting that despite trying to funnel lots of farm onto the Tristana in the bottom lane, that it's still not quite catching up to the Jinx. However, the global gold coming from dragons and the towers is putting them way ahead at this point with the 3,000 gold lead, which should see them going very nicely into the late game.
And like I said, I would expect UCL to continue gaining in that lead, but if they do get a good Syndra stun or Thresh grab, they could very easily find themselves behind.
We see now that the Thresh and the Syndra are sitting in one of their pink warded bushes looking to get a pick on the squishy Janna. I think they're going to back off now because they're split from the Maokai tank. But you can see that they have the same ideas and they're looking to make these picks, which is sort of a sign of them thinking that they are getting slightly desperate almost.
Maybe they maybe can't really fight as straight, and they are just trying to split up, trying to get some pushing and maybe get a pick. But
we see Jinx by herself in the bot lane with no pressure on her. But in the meantime, there looks to be a collapse on the Maokai in the top lane. Does not have TP available, so it should be a free kill for UCL White.
They are all going up there to help out.
So now, with a 4v5, they can either try and push the top wave and match Jinx is pushing, or
Or
rush
trying
to
to
the
go for
Baron
Baron.
4v5. And I think the correct choice here is to try and send one person back, which is Benny, although they may not do that much against the Jinx and Kha'Zix's push
You know,
threat.
Benny now against 2 people probably won't be able to defend that tower alone. They probably would get dived on and nuked down.
Benny using
Holding
his
them away
ultimate.
from the tower.
It was an optimistic play trying to delay for the Mundo, who is now hopefully going to be able to clean up a little bit.
With the
Exhaust.
Tristana coming in behind and the J4 as well, they should be able to get both of these. But the Thresh and Syndra, seeing this, do push up straight back down mid, trying to keep the pressure on. And here is the Jinx finally getting caught. And
So with 3v5 on a map and the growing death timers, it should be a perfect opportunity for UCL White to set up around the Baron area with good vision control, which Thresh is trying to preemptively stop by clearing out UCL's vision. And Benny's going over there to try and cement their own vision control in the area, which would allow them then not to get picked off by the Syndra if they get deep wards into purple jungle.
Well, they do have those 2 deep wards by the red buff, should be able to see anyone coming, and they've maybe got onto this Thresh, who should be able just to grab away.
It's a very nice escape there. The cleavers from Mundo are actually doing a rather large amount of damage considering how tanky he's got,
Also,
and may enable a pick.
yes, and that is Syndra completely, yeah.
And with
That's
Jinx
so
still
quickly.
in the base, which should almost be game pretty much for use. For
Well, they
Cardiff,
can
it's now just a
definitely
matter of
get these
closing
buffs,
out.
Get Baron, go push.
It's now just a matter of closing out and being as safe as possible in doing so.
And they've
J4
decided to go for the pushing instead of Baron. They see that the jungle is still alive. Well,
another pick by the UCL team is very strong showing so far.
and Mundo showing his tankiness, just sitting underneath this turret.
Not many
He's
cares
soaked up the
given.
damage, and then he'll kill it very quickly with the Tristana now hitting it.
Been destroyed.
An often overlooked asset of the Mundo kit is that his E at rank 1 gives him a bonus 50 AD, which increases based off his missing HP. So even though you consider Mundo to be this hyper tank in the late game, he also has very strong pushing capabilities with his bonus AD as the game goes on and he puts more points into it.
Well, we have wards trying to be recovered by the Thresh, just keeping up these wards around the Baron, making sure that if they do try and go for it, he will see. But again, the Jarvan right there, getting on him. Although they will need to back off here because they do have the rest of Cardiff's team.
And you see there the difficulties and the importance of vision control around the Baron area. Had more of UCL White been there, as Thresh was trying to secure their own vision, that may well have been a kill. As it is, Flamsy wisely decides to back off, not having vision in the back of the jungle, to see who else was there from
Well,
Cardiff.
seeing the Jinx bottom, they do decide to start this Baron, and with the vision mostly cleared, one ward still in the back of the pit, they will almost definitely have this Baron locked up.
Two very
Oh,
key
Maokai
wards.
managed to steal it. That was a smite failed by Flamsy there. That was poor by Flamsy. He had smite up. Maokai, that was a fantastic steal, using just a sapling as well to take it.
Important to note that another key reason why UCL White decides to force the Baron issue there were those 2 blue wards at Dragon and at Purple Blue buff, which showed Kha'Zix going to check his own blue and then going to try and see if Dragon was available. And because they had vision there of the Kha'Zix on the other side of the map, they were free to take that with no contest.
It was
However,
very unfortunate that it was stolen away from them, and that really does keep Cardiff going in this game. Now they have that Baron, maybe they will feel confident enough to go for a fight. Although it seems likely that they are just going to keep on pushing out their waves, farming up, and looking for those picks.
UCL White with a 5,000 gold lead at 32 minutes into the game will probably try and stall out this Baron buff, I think, and try and get side lanes pushing and take neutral objectives such as their own buffs coming up. I don't know the exact timings because I'm not on the in-game mode, but soon I would imagine. So we'll probably try and look to stall this out with great wave clear coming from the static Shiv Tristana and their mid laner who has the Athene's Unholy Grail.
Well, they did get the dragon after missing that smite on the Baron. They immediately went down, knowing that they couldn't really keep on pushing or doing anything else. And being very safe, staying back now, farming their own jungle, not going past really the midway point in each lane, just making sure that this team now with Baron can't get more of an advantage. And Cardiff are grouping up now, they have all come down into the mid lane.
So I think what UCL White might possibly want to do now is to move their line of wards back to behind river slightly, so they have better vision in our own jungle. You see now there's one pink ward at the entrance to top half and one pink ward by the red buff. And we see Benny getting picked off possibly, has ulti available, decides not to use it. I think it's sensible to save to cool down knowing he was going to die. But that's why I was talking about needing vision in their own jungle to stop those picks. Even so, I think the 4v5, 33 minutes in, they should be okay with very strong wave play coming from the mid and the AD to deal with the Jinx. We see an engage onto Oriana. Fantastic Zonya stops with stun coming out from Maokai, and the Shockwave should be following up onto the 4 members of the backline who clumped up, 3 members as it is.
A very good ultimate, and again, you saw the Jarvan and the Mundo just keeping that front line. They really did stop both Syndra and flashing and jumping straight into them and getting that double kill. And now they have Ace, they can push straight up down the middle.
With 30-second death timers on most of the members of Cardiff, I think this should possibly be game view, so should they decide to push, however they're dallying in mid lane, so they'll possibly take 1 or 2 inhibitors and back off. But considering they were fighting against a Baroned up team, 4v5, as Jana was still dead in the previous engagement.
Well, the Maokai flashing forward into his binding does mean that he is so far away from his team, and that's a mistake. They just let their AD carry get taken out by the tower for no reason, and that's going to stop them being able to take that inhibitor.
Possibly almost helping them in that passive, because an execute versus possibly getting picked off by Kha'Zix who resets.
No, they could have stayed there. That was a mistake. They did not mean to die to the turret.
Of course, possibly helping them. I'm not sure that with 10 seconds left on the Death Chambers, had Cardiff bought home guards in that interval, which none of them had, that could have been a bit more messy on the retreat. However, Jana was on the way of disengage, so that was just slightly unfortunate, but nothing gained, nothing lost, really.
And UCL, they do have a quite large lead. It is already up 9k.
We'll see in 1 minute and about 20 seconds the Baron will respawn, so about this point the Baron dance will continue. The Baron dance referring to both the sports, once again trying to sort vision out around the Baron area, aided by their junglers. As you see at the moment, there's no wards on the top half of the river.
Well, that is Benny. He's just gone back to pick up that pink, and he will come back with the Sightstone stacked up. Thresh already heading over there, getting some wards down, but going over. They've seen the team heading towards their Jinx, and they are going to try and close in behind them.
The Jinx being extremely greedy.
Well, I believe the Jinx looking there, seeing her team, trying to bait it for them, but just getting killed so quickly.
Flancy with those empowered autos from Jai for passive doing at least 10% extra maximum HP on top of his own AD damage. Really just ripping through your Jinx with no defensive items.
And this Mundo, once again, just like UCL White's last game, is turning into a monster. His 288 farm.
Flamsy going in, a lovely flay coming out of the Thresh to... Ooh.
And another good ultimate, getting that.
That looked painful.
And that is the inhibitor. They'll probably be able to just rotate mid, get this tower, get this inhibitor.
No, a little bit ahead of the minion wave, but Mundo is incredibly tanky.
Going
Jana
up in health.
on top of it. Possibly might have wanted a knockback, doesn't seem to matter. Flamsy doing incredibly well, tanking 3 of them in the back for himself.
Just held off because he's and Syndra, so...
Now that the Jinx has rejoined the fight, they decide to wisely back off, with 20 seconds on Drake effectively, and 30 seconds on Baron. They will shop, and I imagine rush straight towards the Baron. You see Benny putting 1 ward out, just in case they
And now
Try
with these
Desperation
two
Baron.
waves pushing up due to the super minions that have been spawned, if Cardiff do decide to even go near the Baron to try and contest, UCL can just wait there, delay as long as possible, keep those lanes pushing up into the base, and let the minions win. Of course, that will take some time.
The more Flamsy with a very hard engage, followed by a fantastic shockwave, despite the thresh hook on.
And that was the lack of vision for them. They were trying to get there before the team was back, having fought, but just didn't get there in time.
So it's important to notice that Terra Sierra on blue team has got the blue trinket, which gives you a vision of an area. It's point and click. You point on there on a map, they're within range, and you get vision of it. Whereas the Jinx from the other team does not. So had the Jinx gone for the blue trinket, they would have been able to look ahead of time, even if they haven't had boards down, and seen all of UCL White approaching that spot.
You do also see the two improved sweepers as well as the two just normal sweepers, and they have been clearing a lot of vision out, and they have really won this vision as well.
UCL's vision game has stepped up massively from the scrims I saw the other day against King's College London, so it's refreshing and invigorating to see that my complaints about lack of vision in UCL have been taken note of.
And
see now it's
UCL pushing in with this Baron. They're split up, Oriana trying to take the target, there we go. Tristana finally helping
lovely
out.
ult.
And they are going in. Jarvan being taken down, but Guardian Angel bringing him right back up, and Mundo
Jinx
just
free.
keeping them far away.
Tristana free to sit in the back for the entire fight, untouched due to the amazing kill coming out of Flamsy and Mundo. Completely holding backline
done
off.
an amazing job.
Flamsy with the bonus points, getting the extra kill, diving on the Tristan,
And this
Jinx.
will be game, and this is also going to be UCL White going into the top 8 teams of the NUEL.
Congratulations to UCL White. As for UCL Bello and our slowly decaying track record, we do not have a fixture for round 7 yet, but that will be sorted out hopefully tomorrow, and we can let you know when UCL Bello will be playing their final game of the placement matches.